Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we are breaking down what has to be one of the absolutely most chaotic, action-packed 90 minutes of the 2026 World Cup so far. I mean, if you missed the Mexico versus South Africa match at the Azteca, or even if you just want to understand exactly how a tightly contested game completely spiraled into a historic spectacle, you are in the perfect place. We're going to map out exactly how Mexico secured a brilliant opening win, how they managed to crack a stubborn defense, and how South Africa, well, completely and unfortunately unraveled on the world stage.
Here is our starting lineup of topics for today's Explainer. We'll start with Mexico's dominant early start. Look at how Julián Quiñones set the tone, dive into the incredibly emotional redemption of Raúl Jiménez, break down South Africa's disciplinary disaster, and finally, wrap up with the historic milestone cemented in this match. Let's get right into the action.
Section 1. Mexico's dominant early start.
Now, what's really interesting here is the glaring tactical mismatch that defined this game right from the opening whistle. Honestly, the tone of this match was set the second the national anthems concluded. Mexico came out completely ready to dictate the pace, completely stifling South Africa's initial game plan. See, South Africa came into this match really wanting to possess the ball. But against a team like Mexico, the absolute one thing you literally cannot afford to do is turn the ball over in dangerous areas. While Mexico did this brilliant job of playing out of pressure, just staying calm and composed, South Africa kept coughing up possession. It was a fatal tactical flaw, and Mexico was more than ready to exploit it.
Section 2. Quiñones sets the tone.
If there was one player who took a look at South Africa's early nerves and just decided to feast, it was Julián Quiñones. He was operating with sky-high confidence and very quickly became the undisputed standout star of that first half. Let's break down exactly how he brutally punished South Africa's early mistake to make it 1-0. It all starts with that critical South African turnover we were just talking about. The ball falls to Quiñones, and his first touch, absolutely excellent. It sets him up perfectly to cut inside onto his preferred right foot. From there, it's just pure, confident execution. He unleashes a great strike, and South African goalkeeper Ronwen Williams just cannot get his legs shut fast enough. 1-0 Mexico. It is a textbook example of punishing an opponent's error.
And this brilliantly illustrates why that opening goal was so devastating. 1. That is the number of times Mexico has lost a World Cup game when they've led at halftime, dating all the way back to 1978 against Tunisia. Once you let this Mexican squad take a lead into the locker room, history tells us the game is basically sealed. South Africa had a massive mountain to climb, and as you'll see, they decided to start digging a hole instead.
Section 3. Jiménez finds emotional redemption.
For a really long stretch of this game, it honestly looked like Jiménez was cursed. You could see the frustration visibly building. First, there's a fantastic save from Williams, who parries a header wide. Then Williams denies him a second time, robbing him yet again of his first ever World Cup goal. And if the goalkeeper wasn't in the way, the woodwork was. Jiménez finds himself blocked by the post, just agonizingly close to making it 2-0. He was a massive thorn in South Africa's side, but the ball just wouldn't go in. It was a brutal, brutal test of his resilience.
And then the dam finally broke. When Alvarado delivered that beautiful cross into the box, Jiménez made his run and finally found the back of the net. 2-0. The match commentary absolutely nailed it. Easy header for him, and you can see what it means to him. Tears all around. It was a deeply, deeply cathartic moment. After all the near misses, the injuries throughout his career, the sheer wait for a World Cup goal, the raw, unbridled emotion pouring out of him and his teammates on that pitch was something that is absolutely going to be etched into Mexican football folklore for sure. Section 4. South Africa's disciplinary disaster.
While Mexico was hitting their emotional peak, South Africa was spiraling into an absolute nightmare. The unraveling of the South African squad started right after the break, taking us from a tough defensive struggle straight into a historic collapse. One commentator reacted to a massive breakdown right at the start of the second half, screaming, "What are South Africa doing? You're a minute into the half, and boy did they get lucky." Gutierrez had just unleashed an absolute howitzer, and suddenly the South African backline looked entirely panicked. And that panic? It very quickly turned into a total lack of discipline.
Moments later, Gutierrez breaks in behind the defense again, and a foul was committed by Sapale. The referee pulls out a red card for DOGSO, which stands for Denial of a Goal-Scoring Opportunity. Now, there was a lot of debate about this call online, but let's look at the technical rules laid out by former referee Mark Clattenburg. So the crucial point is meeting these specific elements. Step 1, what is the position of the ball? And Step 2, does the attacker have control over the ball? In this specific case, the referee on the pitch determined Gutierrez had the position and the control to score. Boom! Red card. South Africa is down a man.
Let's actually walk through this unbelievable timeline of events, because it's wild. You've got your standard first half yellow card, right? Nothing crazy. But then, minute 46, that DOGSO red card. From there, South Africa entirely loses their composure. Late in the second half, Alvarado gets run in too hard, leading to a second red card. And then, in the final minutes, Montez is taken out, the referee goes straight to his back pocket again, and it's a third red card. 3 sending-offs in a single match. South Africa shockingly reduced themselves to a fraction of a team on the biggest stage imaginable.
Section 5. Historic milestones and takeaways.
Let's zoom out from the immediate on-pitch chaos for a second. Three red cards for South Africa. We just walked through the timeline, but really taking a moment to think about that number in isolation is staggering. At this level of professional football, in a World Cup opener, suffering 3 red cards is a historically disastrous day at the Azteca. It completely changes the calculus for their tournament going forward, leaving them in a heap of trouble before they've even truly begun.
But on the exact opposite side of the pitch, it was a day of monumental milestones for Mexico. First, Raúl Jiménez finally securing his first career World Cup goal, conquering his demons right in front of the home fans. Second, the captain, Edson Alvarez, coming onto the pitch to win his 100th cap for the national team, which is an incredible mark of longevity and leadership. And finally, Mexico bringing on 17-year-old Yerberto Mogué, officially making him the youngest player at the 2026 World Cup. It's really this perfect blend of veteran redemption and the dawn of a totally new generation.
Which leaves us with this final thought. Mexico didn't just win their opening match, they dominated it. They broke a major mental hurdle with Jimenez, and they watched their opposition absolutely crumble under the pressure. The confidence in that locker room right now must be soaring. So, with 3 crucial points secured and history made, just how deep can this confident Mexican squad go in the 2026 World Cup? We'll be watching every step of the way to find out. Thank you for joining me for this explainer, and enjoy the rest of the tournament.